This is Jill Pack with the Seasons of Joy podcast. This is episode number 80, entitled Self Confidence. Are you a woman of faith who is struggling to navigate your current season of life? Do you feel like life is just happening to you instead of for you? My name is Jill Pack. I'm a certified life coach and a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I want you to know that no matter your season or circumstance, it is possible to create a more joyful life. And I would love to show you how. Are you ready? Let's go. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Seasons of Joy podcast. I'm so happy to have you here. But before I get started, I wanted to just remind you again about an amazing free resource that I have available for you as we are approaching the holidays. Many of us will be gathering with family and friends to celebrate. For some of us, this can be a challenge. And when we're struggling in our relationships, the holidays can be difficult. And some of those relationships can even be with our own adult children. I have put together what I call Mending the Rift, repairing relationships with your adult children. In this resource, I share with you 7 tips to help you navigate those relationships that seem the most challenging to you. It is geared towards our relationships with our adult children, but the tips I share are applicable to any relationship you have. You can find the link in the show notes. And if you will apply each of these tips, I promise you, you will be better able to enjoy the holidays with those you love. So now on to today's episode. On my last podcast episode, episode number 79, I spoke about self-love. And I shared 5 ways to increase your love of self. And if you haven't had a chance to listen to that episode yet, I encourage you to do so. It fits really well with this week's topic of self-confidence. Up until a few years ago, I didn't really understand the difference between confidence and self-confidence. I thought they were one and the same. However, once I learned the difference, my life changed. On one hand, confidence is this feeling of trust in our abilities, in our judgments, our qualities, right? Those That confidence helps us achieve specific goals we have. But confidence is often based on past experiences and accomplishments. So, for example, a person who has successfully completed several projects at work may feel confident in their abilities to handle new tasks. But on the other hand, self confidence is a deeper sense of trust in oneself that's not necessarily tied to external factors. I believe that self confidence is essential for our overall well being and happiness. Self confidence is knowing that you can experience any emotion, including fear, without being harmed. It's about accepting yourself fully and embracing your strengths and your weaknesses. Self confidence is an inner strength and belief in your worth and value as a person. Trusting yourself means believing that you will follow through on your commitments, that you will take care of your own needs and do what is best for yourself, even when it may be difficult. It involves having confidence in yourself and your abilities to make responsible choices and then take action towards achieving your goals. So essentially, trusting yourself is all about keeping your word to yourself and staying committed to your own well being. Creating a plan and hoping you will follow through on it is not the same as taking action. When you only rely on hope to accomplish something, you leave yourself vulnerable to self doubt, which is the opposite of self confidence. When you can't trust yourself to follow through, you may feel insecure and flaky rather than in control and self confident. Self trust develops as you consistently follow through on your word to yourself. For example, I may decide that I want to run a marathon. And if I haven't ever done this before, I can't base my success on past experience, right? I've never run a marathon, so I can't base my success on that. I am going to have to trust myself to follow the training plan that I have decided to follow. No amount of hoping is going to help me complete that goal if I don't follow it up with honoring my plan, even when it is hard or uncomfortable. This is self confidence. Another example is this podcast. When I decided I wanted to do a podcast, I didn't even know how to do it. I had no past experience in doing anything like this. I just decided that I was going to learn and that it was going to be fun. I knew that there would be a learning curve and I would make mistakes, and I've made plenty of them. However, I decided I would just show up and I would enjoy the process of learning and creating no matter what it looked like. And here I am at almost 55 years old, recording my 80th podcast episode. Is my podcast perfect? Heavens no. It may not even be that good to some people, but I honestly don't care. Has it been hard and even uncomfortable? Totally. But has it been fun? Definitely. I'm so glad that I've done it. I had to tap into the emotion of self confidence while at the same time embracing the feelings of, of being scared through the process, right? Those two emotions are not mutually exclusive. I think that fear often comes along for the ride. I believed that I could handle whatever emotion came up for me during this process. Now, over a year and a half later, I can say I've developed more confidence in the skills that I've developed through the process of creating this podcast. The worst thing that can ever happen is an emotion, and our emotions are what make life feel bad, right? Most people spend so much time worrying and doubting themselves because they don't know if they can handle anything that comes along in their life. But the truth is, there is no emotion that will permanently harm us if we allow ourselves to feel it and fully process it. When we're willing to experience any emotion while knowing it is the worst thing that can happen, self confidence will grow. The ability to feel fuels action and allows us to become who we want to be. This ability takes away the risk of living and creating our life. What could you accomplish if you really believed that you could handle any emotion? The truth is, the thoughts and opinions that you have about yourself are what either take away or add to your self confidence. Self confidence is an emotion, and our emotions are created by our thoughts and our beliefs. A person that feels self confident is going to believe that they are capable, valuable, and worthy. They're going to think that they are competent, strong, and up for the challenge. These beliefs create self confidence, which fuels the actions that will help them progress, even though imperfectly, right? But they'll work towards the results they want in their life. I think that sometimes in our religious culture, we worry about being prideful or arrogant. And I believe that most of us want to do good, that we have a desire to be kind and humble, and we're striving to be more like our Savior. But I think what often happens is that self confidence is confused with arrogance. So we end up belittling ourselves in an effort to not be arrogant. However, there is a big difference between arrogance and self confidence. Arrogance is believing that you are better than someone else and making sure that you prove it. It is a counterfeit to self confidence. Arrogance includes comparing and putting others down in order to raise your opinion of yourself. It's based in fear, a fear of not being enough. Arrogance fuels behaviors such as lying, puffing oneself up, finding fault with others, and exaggerating abilities in order to avoid rejection. Arrogance is the counterfeit to self confidence. Self confidence is understanding that all human beings are amazing, incredible, and capable. It doesn't require putting others down. In fact, self confidence is about valuing everyone, including ourselves. So if you were to grade yourself on how confident you are right now between 1 and 10, what would you be and why? Many of us struggle feeling self confident because we don't trust ourselves. We don't know how to manage our minds or our emotions, and we feel out of control in our lives. And this leads us not to follow through on our word to ourselves, which undermines the trust that we have in ourselves. And it makes it harder to live in alignment with what we truly value. We are also afraid of feeling our emotions. We don't want to feel negative emotions. So we avoid them at all costs sometimes. And then we find ourselves afraid to do anything that we might fail at, which causes us to continually question our abilities because we believe we need to do things perfectly in order to avoid feeling negative emotion. We view ourselves through a dark lens and we don't spend time focusing on the good in ourselves. The human brain is designed to look for what is wrong, and it is always doing its job. And it finds those negative thoughts and that create those negative emotions. But again, when we stay there, this is the opposite of self-confidence. Self-confidence doesn't rely on anyone else's opinion of you. No one can take away your self-confidence because it's an emotion that's created within you by your beliefs. Your beliefs create your states of being. A belief is a thought that you think over and over, and thinking thoughts that create self confidence and then believing them is a skill that you can develop, but it takes practice. However, many of us have these recycled beliefs that create feelings of anxiety, self doubt, and shame, not self confidence. We don't even realize it though, because we've always thought this way. And again, our brain offers these thoughts to us because they are familiar. And sometimes familiarity feels better to us than the discomfort of thinking something new, even if that recycled familiar belief doesn't serve us. So, what are some of the recycled thoughts that you might have? Think about that for a minute, and I'm going to share a few examples. One is, I don't know, or I've never done it before, or I'm not talented or experienced enough, or I'm not good enough, or it's too hard for me, or failure is weakness, or others are different, special, privileged, and lucky, or rejection is the worst thing that can happen, or other people's opinions define me, or the less I risk, the better. Confidence is something you either have or you don't, or looks, money, upbringing, or intelligence determine my confidence. I am a victim and I am broken. Fear means you aren't confident, or confident people are comfortable and don't feel afraid. Do any of these recycled thoughts hit home for you? The truth is, any of these thoughts are not facts, and they are totally optional, and they aren't creating self confidence. They're not empowering you to create a life you love. So, what if you could start letting go of some of your recycled thoughts and beliefs and begin thinking something different when it comes to creating self confidence? Now, you don't have to know it all or be bossy or outgoing to be self confident. Being self confident means that you aren't worried about admitting when you make a mistake, or you don't have the answer, or you don't know something. You aren't afraid of failing because you understand it's an opportunity for growth and increased self confidence. When you have more self confidence, you will set more goals. You'll talk to more people. You'll take more action. You'll take more risks. You'll achieve more. You'll believe in your future capability and capacity more. And you will be a creator of your future. Now, we each have three things that work against us when it comes to creating greater self confidence. One is our humanness, right? We're all human, and the human brain is designed to look for and focus on what's wrong. It's all in an effort to protect us, to keep us safe. It really does a good job at this, right? But we have to be onto it. We have to recognize that our brain's design is to keep us safe, and we're not always in danger. Number two, our programming. The way we were raised and the culture we grew up in affect the way we think, right, about ourselves and those thought patterns, right? Our program, the way we do things can make it challenging. And number three, the beliefs and our thinking, right? Those thoughts that we've thought over and over again create those beliefs that we have about ourselves. Those three things can make it difficult. So, in order to create greater self confidence, we have to be deliberate. We have to deliberately train our brains to create it because it doesn't come naturally. So, how can we cultivate greater self confidence? I want to share with you 5 ways to do that. Number one, practice changing your beliefs, your thoughts about yourself. Confidence is a daily practice of self belief, and it includes embracing your amazingness. Number two, consider the possibility of what you can create in the future. Open yourself up to the possibilities. When you do that, that moves you closer to those possibilities. Number three, focus on what you do well. Identify and celebrate your strengths. And number four, be willing to feel uncomfortable knowing it will not harm you. Growth happens outside of your comfort zone. Don't rely on your ability, but rely on your belief that you can handle anything because everything is just an emotion and you understand where they come from. And five, practice self compassion. This means treating yourself with kindness and understanding, even when you fall short or make mistakes. When you step into self confidence by accepting and applying these concepts, it blesses not only yourself, but those around you. When you aren't afraid to put yourself out there, you can put more good into the world. You create an energy of abundance and it influences the people around you. So, what are some of those thoughts that you could use instead to create more self confidence? Here are a few examples that I have picked up along the way. Everything is figure outable. I was made for this. I am capable. I'm here for me. The worst thing that can happen is I will experience a negative emotion. What other people think about me is 100% about them. I believe in myself unconditionally. I love and accept myself unconditionally right now in this moment. Worry only pretends to be necessary. The better I fail, the more confident I am. What thoughts can you come up with? You can borrow some of these or find some of your own. What are some thoughts that you can discover that will help you create self confidence for you? Now, maybe you can't totally believe the new thought that you found. Maybe you found one, but it just feels a little far away. In that case, I invite you to use what is called a bridge thought. It's a thought that bridges the gap between a belief that you currently have and the belief you desire. One of my favorite bridge thoughts is it's possible. It's possible that worry isn't necessary. It's possible that failure will help me learn to be more confident. It's possible that I could believe in myself unconditionally. It's possible I was made for this. It's possible that everything is figure outable. You get the idea. The more action you take doing those things that scare you, the more your confidence will grow. The more you allow yourself to feel uncomfortable, the more your confidence will grow. The more you make decisions and honor them, the more your confidence will grow. The more you seek your own approval instead of the approval of other people, the more your confidence will grow. The more you learn by doing, the more your confidence will grow. The more you don't compare yourself to others, the more your confidence will grow. The more you don't let yourself get offended, the more your confidence will grow. The more you let people be wrong about you, the more your confidence will grow. So remember to increase and cultivate greater self confidence. One, change your thoughts about you. You are amazing and you had nothing to do with it. You are a child of God. So cultivate and change those thoughts and beliefs that you have about yourself. Number two, consider the possibilities. What is possible? What possibility could you open yourself up to and face that direction? Number three, focus on what you do well and celebrate it. Be willing to feel uncomfortable. You can do it. It's not going to hurt you. And number five, practice self compassion. Be kind to yourself. Love yourself. Love your humanness. Love all of you. Self-confidence is not about being perfect or never making mistakes. It's about trusting ourselves and our abilities, even in the face of challenges and setbacks. By cultivating self confidence, we can live more fulfilling lives and pursue our goals with courage and determination. The truth is that at the end of the day, we only have one life here on earth. So why not live it to the fullest? That is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here and have a joyful day. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you hear, I would love it if you would share it with your friends and family and leave me a rating and review. If you'd like to learn more about what life coaching is, please schedule a free discovery call with me where we can work together through something that's causing you a problem. Just go to my website, seasons-coaching.com, and you can also find information about my Seasons of Joy one-on-one coaching program and my Seasons of Joy community. Have a joyful week, and I'll see you next time.